Okay, let's
Hey,
get rid of this. Hide that. Okay, cool. We're live. The background music
nice.
is way too loud. See if I can turn that down.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. How are things?
It's okay. Kind of would have wanted to have the tool release done by now. But life and conferences.
Yeah. Life in conferences, those really suck.
I mean, the conference was quite a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, they're good.
Had...
They just suck for getting things done.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely true. But at least I got to talk to people. And share ideas, see what others are doing. It's quite surprising just to see how much in the bubble we are, in the sense that there were over 1.5k people, 1,500,000. No, 1,500, not another thousand. So a lot of people, all professional software developers, who paid a lot of money to go to that conference, and it seemed like for a lot of them, AI isn't even that much of a topic yet. I mean, yes, that is kind of a crowd of Java developers mostly, because that was a Java conference. And I mean, the podium discussion, the panel discussion after the AI-related keynote, that one drew a lot of people, and we had kind of some activity there, but it's still I felt that it could draw even more people, and there could be even more activity. But that we're kind of on the bleeding edge. At least compared to the big mass of people. We are literally, if you think of that bell curve, I guess, we are right at the front of that.
Yeah, that's true. Like, sometimes when you're doing a startup, you join it and you kind of sometimes feel like, damn, I was too late. If only I was a little bit faster, and just a month earlier, we could have gotten ahead of the game and the other people. And then sometimes you go to reality and nobody knows what these things are, right? And it's very easy to get sucked into that bubble, right? Where all the stuff and you think you're behind, but actually not. I've felt that a couple of times, for sure.
It's interesting also kind of looking at it from the tooling point of view. Like that was a little bit like the point of that keynote that I was talking about earlier. It's as developers, we are not going to get replaced by AI. It's just that it's going to be one of the tools that is expected of us, that we use that and get more done. And the other interesting thing, though, is that things like Copilot and those centrally hosted by some third-party code assistants, that's at least in Germany unlikely to really fly.
Yeah.
Because, there are non-disclosure agreements, and if you're not paying for Copilot, then you are the product.
Yeah.
And then they're going to use your code for training, even if it is not open source and it is not on GitHub. They will use it for training.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's something that people don't kind of appreciate enough, which is that everything you say in ChatGPT is, literally going to be used for training. And if you don't delete it, it's going to be used. Like they say it right there, which is great that they're actually saying it. I would say. I actually kind of feel like ChatGPT has gotten a little bit smarter recently, um, in
Yeah,
terms of
they
like
are
prompting
updating
it.
the models.
Yeah.
And
So
wasn't that how Samsung found that their engineers are talking to ChatGPT and sharing
yeah,
company
exactly.
secrets?
Yeah,
Because the
exactly.
Samsung internal code was showing up in answers from ChatGPT.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that.
that's going to be interesting. Like, um, I don't know, the AI spying kind of thing. Um, what a weird world we live in.
Yeah, something quite interesting that
Mm,
a guy from the audience suggested, like, well, how
mm.
about like poisoning models
Yeah,
with your
I've
training
totally thought of
data,
that.
like poisoning
Mhm.
it to produce bad code or vulnerable code, so that careless junior devs will just use it, and then yeah, you essentially have gotten your attack surface there, right there.
Yeah, that's like probably a thing. Particularly, like I know there's people who are like literally trying to post like garbage on the internet so that they have a way to like mess with future language models. And I could totally see. I'm not sure like how successful it would be in general, but like if you had a specific target and you knew that they were using something that was um, generating code, you could totally like kind of embed an attack, like some sort of attack vector or something like that. um, Kind of get it to produce that string with high probability somewhere. Like if you had like the same line of code just posted everywhere in a bunch of repositories all around the world, um, it would probably start producing that randomly, and yeah, then you might be able to kind of attack through a language model. That's like crazy stuff when you think about it. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, so mhm,
yeah, it's just that's why hosting those that stuff yourself is going to be very interesting,
mhm,
because then you can literally ingest your code base and literally have like the fine tuning for the company's style,
mhm,
and yeah, then you run it for yourself. It doesn't really need to run on Microsoft servers or OpenAI's or someone else's. It's just,
yeah,
I think there will be that point when people start noticing, oh, the cloud means that it just runs on someone else's computer,
mhm,
and they will
and
find
they
that,
charge a
oh,
lot for it.
yeah, even though CapEx versus OpEx is a thing, so buying computers looks worse on the sheets than renting them. But
Mhm.
on the other side, it's so much more expensive.
Yeah,
And there are kind of all those distributed systems problems that no one really needs. And yeah, there was another session at the conference actually talking about
mhm,
the problems of cloud, or the
mhm,
pitfalls when migrating there.
mhm,
And it starts like with this really easy to understand graph of the system.
mhm.
It ends up with something where the speaker was like, yeah, you should probably hire a team of people to take care of that
Yeah,
instead of just pawning that off on the devs. And
it's true.
then kind of in the next sentence. But obviously, the initial starting picture was very simplified, and you should have had all of that on-prem anyway. Like, you should
Mhm.
have had the tracing and metrics collection and so on and so on.
Yeah.
But that used to be very simple too. You just installed a bunch of things and like Munin, and then you had your basic metrics of how much RAM is being used, CPU is being used, how much I/O you have, and so on and so on.
Yeah, that's so like so true. How maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, like how to set up a server, get it locked down, how to monitor it, and all that stuff was like easy and well understood. Well, maybe not easy, I guess. Like it was only easy because I knew all of that stuff, right?
And most of it was still just an apt getaway.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Linux distributions made all of that stuff super simple, right? And you know, for the most part, like, yeah, there is the core application, the thing that you really need to scale and stuff like that. That might get crazy and complicated, but you know, to have like a simple file server or a monitoring thing or like your email server and all these things, it's just apt-get, install the thing, run through a couple of menus, then you had it all set up and good to go. You know, like just the hardest part was figuring out the IP addresses or the domain names, right? And then Docker came along and ruined it all. Or at least that's the way it feels to, you know, old neck beards like me. Yeah, old men yelling at cloud, for sure.
Yeah, it's but it is really like that. It's like, okay, let's have another layer of abstraction. Let's make it Google scalable. And it's like, yeah, most companies are not Google. In 2007, we dealt with over 4 million requests per day. That is from unique users, and with, what was it, like 150, 200 requests per second. And that was on 2007 hardware, not even 2007 hardware, because that project has been running for a while, so it's kind of 2005-ish hardware. Sure, there were several servers, but like if you have less than a rack full of servers, then you don't necessarily need cloud.
Yeah,
it's like and then it's the people who advocate for the cloud, they say, oh, it's not about being like in someone else's data center. It's about dynamically allocating resources.
Yeah.
And I can see the point, but I very seldom see people who actually need it. Like, very often it's like, oh, it's like your Black Friday thing where you need to scale a lot and then you need to scale down again.
Yeah. I mean, I can totally see, like, if you genuinely have that totally makes sense. Right? Very few places actually have that. And, you know, one of the things is, like, Stack Overflow is famously running on like 5 servers. And yeah, Express AI is also right now, we have 5 servers in the data center. And that's a lot of servers, you know, like sometimes you kind of think.
But those 5 servers have more RAM and more CPU cores and more IOPS and more storage bandwidth than all the servers together in that one rack in 2007. Like,
exactly.
Easily.
Like one server today. Yeah, one server today is a lot of server, right? Like you can get, I don't know, like you can scale up quite a bit with one server. You know, like you can totally get dual socket, you know, epic servers right now. 128 cores, you know, like you don't need rack of
all
servers.
you want is cores, you get the Ampere things with like what do you get there?
But I mean, if you have dual socket Ryzens, right, then you're looking at 200 threads in one U or something like that. Like that's a ridiculous amount of computing power. And going between 256 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of RAM is like, a few $1,000 is like nothing in the big scheme of things. So yeah, like I tweeted the other day, like the amount of compute power we have in our data center on those 5 servers would cost us like $32,000 a month on Google Cloud. And similar numbers for Azure and AWS. It's not anything crazy, but those servers, they would pay themselves in 6 months. And there is something to be said. That's a lot of money. Like it's a lot of money. And when it comes to like startups in general, it's always better to have money than anything else, right? Like no matter what else you have, you can have servers or cars or employees or whatever. No, you want money first and foremost, because there's big ups and downs, particularly for young companies, but even for big companies too. So yeah, like just having the option to have the cash and then pay it little by little makes a lot of sense from a business perspective. But paying off little by little, when that equals 6 months, it's like that's an arguable trade-off, I would say, right?
Yeah, you kind of need to given just how much value are you using from depreciation, right? So let's say you're buying a server. If you were to sell that same server the very next day, you would probably get essentially what you paid for it. It's not like you're buying a new car and the moment that you leave the dealership, it lost like 30% of its value.
Yeah. Unless you happen to buy a vector engine, unfortunately. That's a different story. That's a very, very different story. But yeah. But anyway, maybe we can stop yelling at the cloud and start using our cloud.
Okay.
To do so. Let me go to the screen sharing thing. So for today's entire screen two, there we go. Yeah, so for today's stream, Express AI is going to be sponsoring a hackathon over here in Tokyo, and there is a Discord group for that for that hackathon. And I kind of said, hey, do you guys want to have a Discord bot? And they're like, yeah, we totally want to have a Discord bot, one that could maybe say hi to the people who join and show them the place where they can make a self-introduction and kind of tell them the rules and stuff like that, and be generally like a friendly thing that can help out and things like community management kind of bot. And of course, there's a million of those available out in the internets, but I want to make my own. And I want it to be running. I want to make it in Xircuits completely, and then deploy it onto a virtual machine, and get it hooked up and running. So that's what we're going to do. So the Discord component library is brand new. There's maybe some things left to be done in it, so we will take that library and do the things that need to be done and get it up and running, I think. And if not, I'll just fork some random bot and get that up and running too, because the requirements aren't crazy, but I just want to make sure that we can use the Discord bot. I plan on also demoing exactly this at the large language model meetup number 2 that they're doing over in Roppongi on Thursday. So I'm going to be presenting a demo there, and today we'll be creating that demo, essentially. I said I would kind of demonstrate using large language models and bots using circuits. So that's what we're going to do. And I think I'm going to start from scratch. So this right here is the Zybo pipeline for browsing the web and things like that. And we're not gonna start from here. This would be a lot. But there was one interesting thing that I did here that I wanted to maybe show. I was playing around with the executor agent, and I had this interesting idea of making it be a branching type of thing, where you hook up the tool runner, specifically to tool runner, and have it do that. So the idea behind this is that perhaps you can have this execute the tool runner, and then you could have another agent that determines whether or not it was successful. And then you have a branch or a loop, or perhaps just one other chance, where now you have another critic agent that takes the action and edits it, makes it takes the result and the previous action, and spends some cycles thinking, what should I do to achieve the objective given that this action failed, and then it would fix it and then run it again.
Now take a look at the playground, or the OpenAI playground, and select the edit model there. It's I feel it's getting not enough love overall.
Yeah, I mean,
like no one is kind of talking about that, but
yeah,
it has.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It has like this. You go up directly to the playground. Yeah, the editing text thing, because they show it as a text, right?
Yeah.
But in the playground, you can select a code model. So
if you edit, use
yeah,
codecs.
You can have a codex model, and so for example, let's have put something in there, and then just put the exception into the instructions. Like I don't know.
Well,
like names is not defined or something like that.
The actual thing. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, just the entire thing. Now submit it. Okay, I guess that one is a bit too... Because when I tried that previously...
Yeah, there we go. You have to kind of tell it, fix the error. And that's true. I guess that might actually be a thing that I might want to try. Specifically, the tools are always code. They don't have to be, but I find that it always wants to write code. So the tools are usually like DSLs of some sort. It's kind of important that they're like DSLs of some sort rather than popular things, because it likes to generate like tutorials if it's a well-known library of some sort. But if you have a DSL, it kind of more relies on the example you gave it than its own internal memory of a bunch of tutorials on that specific technology. So
yeah. The neat thing is that you can give it like the code that it generated previously, the error that you got.
Yeah.
And this is free at the moment.
That's a good point. That's a really good point, actually. Yeah, we could probably make a code critic component pretty easily, because we already have the critic, and the critic, which I don't use. essentially updates the action. So it takes all the same things as the executor, plus the action that the executor did in the task, and then it updates the action based off of that. So if I made this be a like code critic, that could be a thing. It might work significantly better. Yeah, I have to give that a try. But we're not here to play with baby AGI. We are here to make new things. So let me find that circuits and kill it. I'll start a new one from scratch.
Okay.
Um,
I'm wondering how much I can really help you during this stream, or whether I should just spend some more time on revamping the storage backend for Technologic to make it, well, to release the tool support that anyone can use.
Yeah, that would be good too. I'd also like to hide this sidebar, mainly because I like
for things like screenshots.
Yeah, like I like to have.
I usually don't switch too often between conversations anyway.
Yeah, like I like to have like a small window on the side, right? That I can hide and then kind of bring up and then hide again, and just having a little bit more space to keep enough things on the left-hand side and giving enough space on the right-hand side. That would actually be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe you can do that. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to drop from the stream and drop in every once and again if I want to yell at you because you're not looking at the chat or something like that.
Yeah, I can sometimes forget that the chat exists. So yeah.
Yeah, and otherwise I'm just going to participate through the chat.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, so let's do Discord demo. I think that makes sense. And this will be a good chance for me to test out the latest release, make sure that we didn't break anything in the onboarding and stuff like that. Although we do have a lot of testing that's done, but you never know. Maybe something might have happened in the ensuing days that causes problems. But anyway, let's go do the thing. So first things first, we'll Python 3 and VM to make a nice virtual environment for ourselves. And then we will source that. Cool. Now we'll pip install the latest circuits. Yeah. It does have to download a lot of things. That is the way. Can't complain about it. Okay, because it is, when you think about it, it's doing a lot of stuff. It's a non-trivial amount of things being done. So yeah, what can you do? Let me make sure. I think I have Wheel already installed, but I'd like to make sure I have it. Okay, cool. Now, I think I would like to also use Vecto, so I will also pip install Vecto from the latest SDK. It's AI Vecto API Vecto Python SDK. Yes, that's what I want. If I look at the agent toolkit, it should have the command that I want in there. There we go. And for those who don't know what Vecto is, that is our vector database that's GPU accelerated. And because of that, has some unique features that others do not. What else do I need? Yeah, I think we'll just get the Discord and the OpenAI installed. And for that, we need to do Xircuits components. Okay, let's get all that in there. Now, the main ones I'm planning on using are the well, the Discords don't work. Why does this not work? Unable to retrieve Discord skipping. Very odd, but doesn't matter. We can do it anyway. So we will probably that, right? And then if we do Xircuits components, it still says unable to receive. That is weird. Let me just do it manually. So if I do some module add, say, components, yeah, OpenAI is in there, and then we get Discord. Okay, cool. So now we have all the component libraries that we need. Run Xircuits and stop that because we don't want to use Safari, we want to use Chrome. I do kind of sometimes wish we had like a Towery browser just for Xircuits. That'd be pretty nice. Okay, so let's start with some simple basic stuff just to make sure that everything works fine. So let's print hello world. Hello world. Make sure that that's working before we get too far into the weeds here. Okay, cool. So now you can see that that works. So a few differences from the latest version compared to previous that you might notice is that the output is now on the right, which I think makes more sense because when you have a lot of these, you know, we're telling which components executing helps debug things, and there's a lot of like short messages in the log, so having them all there is I think it's better to have them on the right. Okay, so that's that. Let's get rid of that. Now we have our Discord and our OpenAI. So for now, we are going to initialize the OpenAI as the first thing from our environment. Okay, and yeah, I think that's it. Next, let's go to the Discord. Do I want to use, I'm not sure if I want to now, but let me get the actor toolkit also installed. That's probably faster to do it. I hate it when I do that. So I tend to really like to use Command W to close these tabs. But that's not it. Okay, yeah, never mind. That's blocked, so let's do it from here. So we do circuits, submodules. And what do we have? Can we list? And we can't list what we have. Do we have the XAI vectors? No, we don't have that. But anyway, now let's go look it up. We do XAI actors. We have this library, which is a wrapper for Thespian. It might be very useful for us. So we are going to use that. And let me copy this in here. XAI components, AI actors, and git submodule. What was it again? Git submodule add, or yeah, git submodule add. Okay, cool. So now let's do the requirements things. It would, I'm not sure if circuits submodules does the pip install, but it would be nice. Pip install -r XAI components and Discord requirements XP. And we also want to install the OpenAI requirements.txt. And finally, the actors requirements.txt. I think that's mainly the ones that we want to use. So OpenAI and Discord, right? Cool. So let's test that OpenAI is working. So let's go chat. And let's use, oops, gotta remember to use my mouse. So GPT 3.5 Turbo as the model. The system prompt is you are a friendly chatbot called Zybo. And useful. And then the user prompt will be, hi, how are you? Really simple. And we'll keep the rest of the things as default. Then we have our completion, and that should be just a string. So just print that out, I guess. Okay, cool. So let's check if that runs. As an AI language model, I don't have feelings the way humans. The max token is a little small. So let's set that to, I don't know, 1,000 max tokens. That should be pretty long. Okay, so now we have a really bad version of ChatGPT up and running. Now, let's go look at the Discord. So Discord has a client in it. Discord message responder. Wow, that's a 1,000 tokens. That's way too many tokens. How much longer is it getting? Oh, it's currently overloaded. It's so annoying. Let's tone this down to 100 tokens. Hold on, let me do that again. Provide a validated type. Ooh, this is weird. Have we never done this before? Oh, that sucks. We seem to have broken our integer thing. Look into that. Okay, so let's run that. Where is chat? Let me make sure I'm paying attention to the chat. Okay, so that's enough tokens there. So now it's completed its response. Okay, so first step is to get a Discord bot that does this. Yeah, how did that break? That is so weird. So very weird. Let's reload it. See if it's any different after reloading. Yeah, that's super weird. How does changing the number change the data type? Anyway, okay, so I want to keep the authorize here, but this chat thing is going to happen somewhere else. So we're going to select all of these things. Let's put you up here. Okay, and we will move it over here. I think let's give us some more room for the finish. Okay, so let's look at the Discord library. So you have client init, deploy bot, and so on and so forth. So let's look at client init. Okay, so there's nothing there. That's a little weird. But I guess it's true, we do need to make that client. So that kind of makes sense. I think we might want to make it so it's possible to change the intents that we have, because we might need to customize that based off of the bot. Okay, and then we need to deploy and trigger, if I'm not mistaken. And we could also check the Discord docs that show what you want to do. So we can see there's client init, then process image, responder bot. Or I guess we can also look at the example. Let's do that real quick. So we go to XA components, open up the Discord. You can see a simple ML prediction Python. Here's the example. So let's look at the bot with branching. So we client init and then trigger branch, then shut down bot and deploy bot. It's weird that deploy bot is over here. I guess this is setting up, a command to shut down the bot, right? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. So this defines the client init, then defines the trigger, and then we go into the shutdown to define the shutdown command, and then we deploy the bot with the default token. And you don't need to have the shutdown. Okay, that's cool. So that's really simple, just client and trigger. So that's nice and easy. So we can possibly do something like this, I think. Let's deploy the bot here right before the finish. Okay, so we've initted, and then let's set up a trigger that is Zybo. Okay, and when we receive Zybo, do we receive it if it's mentioned? It's a good question. But anyway, we should be able to do the deploy and see if this works. Let me check where it gets this token. Discord bot token. Okay, so I do think I might have to set that. Have it set up for another bot here in this machine. So let's look at Bash. Profile. Okay, so right now my Discord bot token that. But I did have a Zybo one, right? I believe so. I'm not have it here. It starts with MTA, right? Do the setup again. It was weird because I thought I had already set this up. Anyway, let's go to the Discord thing. Not on this browser because I don't have not logged in there. I don't necessarily plan to log in. I need to copy. No. Go back, you fool. Okay. Discord link address. That makes more sense. Okay, so we have Zybo and our bot and our token. Why do I not have the token here? Zybo is application 766. Okay. Okay, so I guess I lost the thing, but that's fine. I can reset it and create a new one. And do a little export dance. And then we'll use Discord Zybo token as the Discord bot token. I think is what it was using. Let me double check that. Yeah, Discord bot token is what we want. And unfortunately, we got to close all this and reload. Okay, so projects, temp, Discord demo. And if I source the VM and activate and do the circuits thing and create a new window. In that window, we go here. Okay, so that's good. Now on message, we want to go to the chat. The user prompt should not be this, but instead be the string message, right? And then we want to respond. And I think that is the responder. There's, yeah, trigger branch is that. Post message. That's the response. What's the difference between message responder and Discord post message? Even though this has the Discord message, I have the feeling I want to use post message because I can hook that there. Then we have our response. We don't need any attachments. So we can just do that. And that could be everything. Let's see if we can run it. Finished executing. What would cause Discord deploy bot to not stop? Could possibly be related to this. We could also do the terminal things. Let's give that a try. So if I compile that, on untitled.py. Okay, it is logged in. So we got our Zybo. And if I'm not mistaken, Zybo is in here. Can I make a private channel? Let's make a development private channel called Zybo test. And I want you could have Jen and Zybo. I should maybe do this so people can see what's going on there. Just me or Zybo not here? Zybo should be here. Yeah, Zybo is there. But perhaps it can't join private channels. But let me make a Zybo test non-private channel. Okay, let me make sure I don't. So I've discovered what this problem is. So right now, Discord is completely frozen. I can't do or type anything for a really, really long time. And it is due somehow to the IME. So if I disable the IME, I no longer have any problems at all. Okay, so now if I mention Zybo and say, what did I say the trigger message was? Hi, Zybo. Yeah. Hi, Zybo. How are you today? Is it going to respond? Yes, it is. Cool. Okay, so that's pretty good. But if I do this, I reverse a string in Python. It's not going to do it because the trigger is not this. So if I copy this, we go here, and I paste that in here. That's not the thing. I don't think that will work, because if I remember correctly, this is special. Will it work? Let's try. Okay, so let's save and compile that. Restart the bot. And do the same thing. Yeah, pretty sure that won't work. Message. I know this has a number attached to it. How can I view the number? I'm pretty sure it's logged in. Yeah. This thing has a number attached to it. Like the actual thing is more like some numbers, something along the lines of this. Right? That's kind of what it really looks like. Pretty sure it's something along those lines. How do I get that? What is that number? How can I see the number? It's like the ID of the person. Do I need, is that information in the developer portal? It might be. Okay, so perhaps I need to do that. Okay, so save and compile. Restart the bot. Now, if I say this again, that is not it. We might try that. I don't think that is it. But we could give that a shot. Rainbow number 4334. Definitely not this though. Was there? Yeah, I don't think we have like a respond to every message that it ever gets, which might be useful to figure out what is going on. Okay, so we are is 4334, and now if I say that, yeah, it's not that because that's a completely different thing. Is it not the application ID? I have the feeling it is the application ID. Double check. Yeah, that's not doing anything. Okay, so Gen does reply to itself 7554. Yeah, so it is the application ID. It should be that. So this really should be like that. Pretty sure. But it's not responding to that. And the actual message itself, if you were to look at the things, I know how it works. It's more like this, right? This is what the literal quote is. So if we have that as a message trigger, that should be what we need. And that's why this, this thing becomes purple. It's because it knows that that's like special. But that's not how that works. So let's open this up. We have trigger branch. So the message trigger, if message content starts with message trigger dot value. So for debugging purposes, let's print out the message dot content to see what we're dealing with. Then I mention the bot. Ah, there's an and. Why is there an and? That makes no sense. But I was close. Okay, so now if we go back in here and copy this correctly, like so. Why is that number different? What does this number mean? And where do I get it? Then we save and compile. Okay, so now it should work. Yeah, it's working. So, now we just have a nice bot. It's very cool. Didn't take really any time at all. It's very simple. Very cool. But I don't know like how a normal person would get that. Would get that number other than printing it out. But that number is just the bot's. Oh, wait a second. 109755. That is weirdly close to Jen's number. Yeah, really have no idea how to get that number. One mention, yeah. But anyway, so we have this working. It's good enough, which is cool. Now, one of the things that we want to do is to make it say hi to everybody. It's pretty cool. Now, I've gotten Jen in our bot to do this kind of thing where it kind of takes the person's image and then generates some kind of background and it says welcome. It's not a great image in here because it's like white on white, so kind of hard to see. But I think that would actually be cool to see what it takes to do that, given some Express AI, components. So I've seen that some people are having issues creating stuff. Oh, also.
Yeah, hey, I thought I'd come in and to yell at you.
Okay.
For not looking at the chat. Because Fariza has posted the when mentioned callback, which could be really useful. Because then you don't need to know that particular number.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that there is a user property on the, I guess, bot object. And that one has an ID. So you could use that, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, but I think that would be like should it be like a special trigger? Discord trigger?
I think the trigger that Fariza has linked in the chat, that one is kind of the most useful one.
Yeah.
If you want
so
to,
we need
I
can... like when mentioned component. But anyway, it's fine. Like it's a simple kind of thing that eventually people will do.
Okay. I guess I'll let you continue the stream then.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So like with just a few things now, you like literally have essentially one of the most advanced chatbots you could ever possibly make, right? Definitely not cheap, but pretty useful, reasonably fast, and pretty nice. So yeah, I think like we should kind of have so one thing I think we shouldn't need to say branch, right? It's not necessarily a branch. It's just like a Discord on message trigger, right? Yeah, or maybe Discord trigger message or something like that. And then we could have a Discord when mentioned trigger, and then just have the message kind of come out. But anyway, so this thing actually comes in this message, right? And we want it to do a few things. So when people join and not join, there is a specific event for that called on member join. So I think I want to make that one really quick. Oh, interesting. You can do this message. You said whatever, and then we can print that out. Okay, that's useful for debugging stuff. Could totally do that without editing the message. So let's do that actually. So we trigger the message. We have this thing, and then I can echo message. Yeah. Let's do that real quick. Let's splice that in here. like that. Okay, now let's echo message. So first we'll echo the message. That should not do both, just one, please. Okay. Oh, and I forgot we need to print it. So after that, we're going to print message. And then after that, then we do the OpenAI chat thing. Okay, cool. So now let's go here and say, Zybo, tell me a funny joke. It's just the thing that you ask the bot to do. Yeah, and then in there you can see the message that we get. Now in here you can see that doesn't have an ampersand, right? But this does have an ampersand. So what in the world is going on with that ampersand? I'm not sure. Really not sure. After disconnecting this, we don't have... It hasn't responded. Why is that? Did we consume the message by doing that? Or echo message. Then the message is the user prompt. Yeah, I have the feeling I did something there. I'm not sure what that echo message does. Let's get that back into the original state like this. Okay, that again. Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field. Yeah. Not very funny. Anyway, okay, so we have many messages, and we kind of want the bot to do things based off of that message. Actually, let me close my door 1 second. Okay. So let's create a simple command. Like show me or something like that. Like show me a picture of something, something, something. So if someone says, show me a picture of something, then we do one thing. And if not, then we respond normally, right? That could be a thing, I think, right? Seems reasonable. Ooh, you know one other thing that I kind of wish we had? If the bot could send that it's typing. Because when I start typing, you should be able to see that somebody is typing. And I think Discord has that. And it's useful because it is quite long to generate an image and stuff like that. With context dot typing. Can I do it without with? Ooh, I got a mosquito. That's disgusting. Yeah, it's the worst when there's mosquitoes. I guess you can. Typing is something that you have an enter and exit. So we can just have a component that wraps that, I'm pretty sure. All right, let's make that real quick just to see it in action, because this does sometimes take a long time too. So let's make a copy of this and call it Discord start typing. Right, let's get rid of this for now. Don't need to trigger a response. We just do the thing. We get our client. What is the context in here? I see. Context is part of the event. It's weird that it hasn't responded to Paul. I don't know why it hasn't responded. It should. It's still running. Actually, he has a good point. Trigger branch has an on message. We could have a Boolean in trigger branch, which is on message. So essentially, when the on message is done, we finish typing. I think that's fine, but maybe we don't always want that. So let's do that instead. That's perfectly reasonable. Okay, so we have our trigger branch. We have a message trigger, and then we have a typing, indicate typing or something like that. And then we have our handler. On message handlers. Then deploy bot does the thing, right? Yeah, on message. So Discord by on message context. Can we get the context in on message? Events. Is this what I want? Or is this the old one? Okay, so on message. It's perfect. Now on message receives a message. And the message, does it have a context? I don't see one. But with this, it's typing. These are all commands. How do you do a event? Oh, I hate these people. Well, why in the world is this showing? With message channel typing. Okay, this is what we want. Okay. And I see. Now we run the handler, right? And the handler we have our trigger branch, which has our onMessage component. This is the handler. And we do everything here, but we have what we need essentially. So if it starts with that, and if yeah, I really don't know how to do this in a way that's not weird, because essentially we want this, but then we also want this, right? But then there's another if self dot indicate typing value. Then we want to do that. Then else do this. I guess there's no other way around it. Okay. On that. Now let's see if it just hates Paul or not. Okay. As I didn't do the typing on indicator because I need to reload the node. Right? Indicate typing in argbool on Discord trigger branch, right? Reload node. There we go. Trigger typing. There we go. Save, compile it, and try it one more time. Okay, it's logged in. Let's do that again. Your jokes may be good, but they're not as revolutionary as the new Apple iJoke 2.0. It's thinner, faster, and funnier. That's not bad. That is not bad. Did you hear about the iPhone that got a job at the circus? It was a real applause seeker. Okay. Anyway, so we got the typing indicator. That's pretty good. I like having that. And it was a good idea to have it be, so whenever it's doing the onMessage, then it's typing, essentially. And then if it fails to do this for any reason, that will break out and then it'll stop the typing. So that way we don't need to worry about having try catches inside of start and end typing, all sorts of stuff. So it's a really good, it's a good place to have that. Cool. So now let's think of what is a good way if you're making a bot that can do lots of things to execute stuff? That is a good question. You can have an intent thing, like Paul's saying. And that's fine. I think the thing I'm kind of wondering is like, wouldn't it be cool if I could ask it to make an image for me, and I can say that in any language and it just works? Kind of similar to the Hugging Face agents. Exactly. Might as well do it. Might as well do it. Yeah. Might as well. Okay, so let's make a new component library. XAI Hugging Face agents. Right. Oh, I don't want a folder. Delete the folder. Okay. So let's make an init I, and then let's make a new file called hfagents.py. It's components or something. Okay, so a Hugging Face agent, for those who do not know, is a set of like agents in the Transformers library that can do things like they have access to various models that are in Hugging Face, and they work out what they have to do based off of your input. And it can do quite a lot of stuff. And the main issue will be figuring out how to limit, or like how to interact with it in a component friendly way. But let's do it. So let's go here. Close that, pip install that. Now the problem, I mean, maybe it's not a problem, but like this is heavy stuff. It's pretty heavy stuff. Like, I'm lucky I have a top of the line MacBook Pro kind of stuff where you're going to need like, 32 gigs of RAM and stuff like that to run some of these models. So it's very possible that it's easy for people to kill your bot with just a couple of commands. It's kind of funny, like you could say, does the set of all set contains itself or something like that. and that won't kill it, right? Like OpenAI is like, no, it does not, right? But it would be something similar. Like you could tell it to generate a large image or something like that, and then OCR that image and find the text in there or whatever, and then it will figure out a plan to do those things. But then the amount of models that it has to use to do that will kind of take up all your memory. So yeah, I do know how to make it better at that. Okay, so now that is installed. And if I go through, open up a terminal and go through my history real quick, because I have a couple of, hold on. What was it called? I think it was like PyTorch. Yeah, these things. I need these things first, and then okay. So with those things in place, I should have I should be able to run the component thing. So let's go in here. We should have this, and then we need to do this, and then yeah, then we do agent run. That's what we have to do. API key should be in everything that I need. So let's take a component like this and put HF agent init, and let's make a kind of simple, type in arg string, and then if self.agent type.value is equal to OpenAI, then we run this, and then we put HF agent, put that into the context. I think. So we can only have one, agent per circuits file, but I think that's good enough. Okay, and then we'll have an XAI component class HF agent run, and then I'll take a prompt arg string, and then it should have a response. So if it does things, kind of hard to figure out what it'll do. Put response text as an out arg string, and response image as an out arg image. I think that's what it did. Let me check. What do I need? I forget where the pill thing is at. Pill, yeah, import image. Okay. From pill import image, and then there's also a chance that it could like response audio, or maybe I'll just put everything else to be a file. So Yeah. Okay. Not sure about that one. It might be like a path thing, something like that. Or maybe we just make it. No, I think it's useful to have like an actual image object in there. And it can do audio and stuff like that, but we'll just ignore that for now. Okay, and what we want to do is take the agent from the context. And we do agent.run self.prompt value. Now, agent also has chat. Which is kind of cool. But that will be a little weird when you have... you have to be careful with the bot because there's one bot instance for all the servers that it's connected to. So if you use Hugging Face Agent's chat, it will be responding in ways in other servers that really don't make sense because they don't see the other context happening. The good thing about run is it's self-contained, so it's kind of limited, maybe not as cool, but that works. But anyway, so run, if I recall, returns things. I can return all sorts of things. Like if you do this, generate pictures of rivers and lakes, it returns an image. Image captioning. So I guess we just need to check what it returns and use it. Okay, so I'll take whatever that returns, then if is instance ret of string, then self.response text.value is equal to ret, and then else if is instance ret image, then self.response image.value is equal to ret. Okay. And we also have, okay, so we had here a respond image, right? Post message can have an attachment path. So for this one, it's so this Discord process image is a trigger branch, but with image data, or is this a response? It receives an image. Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, we don't need to do that right now because we're just going to generate an image and then we're going to post a message, and it can have an attachment path, which might be a file. So yeah, let's put response file here and then make that a string. And then if it is an image, we need to, what is it? Was it .save? I think it was .save. think it was .save. I will ask GPT. It's overloaded. Okay. Yeah, .save. Yeah. So we'll do ret save. Want a temp file. So I think there's a with temp file and a temp file thing, which I think we do have. Let me check real quick. Python import temp file. Yeah, that's in the standard library. And you can say with temp file to temporary file. That's what it was. So with temp file dot temporary file as f, and that is a file pointer. I think either we use OS, but maybe there's another method. And with this slowness, it makes me wonder if Google's faster or not. Or maybe faster. Let's see, temporary file. fp.name. Okay. It's about the same. Okay, so f, and then we'll save as f.name. And response file.value is f.name. But then we'll erase it if we use if. Could add a shutdown hook and erase all the files at once. That's probably no good. How do I save the file for a few minutes or so? We just don't delete it. We have a path. We just have, yeah. Say a component. Wait, did we have a? Yeah, we have a delete file already, right? Yeah, just use the delete file thing. Okay, cool. So we create our temporary file. Save, and then set the response, and then make sure delete it. Easy. Let's see if that works. Okay, so let's go here, refresh. Refresh. We have HF agents. Let's, after the authorize, and after the client init, let's init the Hugging Face agent, and we'll use OpenAI. Then we trigger the branch, right? And then instead of OpenAI chat, or maybe we want to have that. No, but we consume the message. That's a weird thing about how this works. Kind of hard to respond multiple times. But anyway, let's just do the agent run based off the prompt on the message. We have our typing indicator. And then let's put that there. and there. And if that works, that's easy. And it depends on how smart this is if we give it a path. Okay, so let's run that. And we wait, because it's going to be a heavy S bond. Oh, right, we forgot to import all the things. Let's open that script. Okay, and run that again. Okay, that looks okay. Hugging face agents. Let's try this example. Caption the following image, that's pretty cool, but let's do something simple, like draw me a picture of rivers and lakes. Seems reasonable, right? Rivers and lakes. Typing indicator is not happening. Why not? I really hate the dark. I hate that switching between dark and light. You know? It might be just me, but I really don't like it. Let's give it a kind of slightly lighter. Yeah, close enough. Oh god, I really don't like that. Appearance, just white. Okay, cool. Rivers and lakes. It is not doing anything. Why is it not doing anything? Is it not doing anything? Not doing anything. Because the number is different. That makes no sense. Why is the number different? Notice typing. Okay, definitely need, like, I guess use the bot's ID. Okay, so it's using the image generator. Let's here result. Image generator. I think it's still running. Yeah. So it takes a long time, but it's doing the thing. I think I might as well give it a sec. Dope. What's your problem now? No, I think it's still fine. It's the bot has timed out, which is a problem. And fixing that will be interesting. But yeah, let's see my laptop's GPU break a bit of a sweat. Yeah, it really should be using Dolly instead, but that's not what Hugging Face Agents uses, right? Like, We totally can, right? We have a Dolly in OpenAI here, so I can totally do it. It's just I want to use this agent then just to see how that works. Will it be able to respond with that? It's timed out like this? Probably not. R2 must be a type, a tuple of types, or a union. Is image not a type? Try that again. It should be faster the second time because we're not loading so many things. Oh, before I wanted to try it, I actually wanted to do something else. Yeah. Anyway, what I wanted to try, and my computer is incredibly laggy, so I'm not sure if you guys can even hear me. Like I can feel my mouse stop moving because it's using the crap out of the GPU. Maybe I should enable Turbo Boost. That might help things. What do I want to do? Okay, so this ret is instance, ret image. Image is a class. Or is it a module? It should be a type, right? What is Python on about here? Yeah. This is ret image. What is ret? PDB. Until we have proper debugging, this will have to do for now. Let's go there. It is listening again. We had an error of processing rate. Sorry about that. Very close to just doing the RWKB server. Kind of had it up to here with OpenAI and them ignoring us. But we'll see. Okay. I've given it a second. Maybe that's enough for OpenAI to get its act together. Seems to be. So the discard heartbeat. So essentially, we need to really be doing this in a separate in a separate process, right? Like this should be forking or like doing the message queue thing. And I think you could do that without too many problems. But it can't like properly reply. Like that's the thing. I really don't like the like the default Discord Pi API, because it has like these special objects that are consumed and things like that. It really shouldn't work that way. It should actually be like there's a message reference that can live on forever. I don't know why it has to consume a response. And you can do it. Like it's not like it's impossible. It's totally possible. It's just that the way it is by default, it kind of doesn't work that way, and it's a weird API. So, for example, the way you implement I think somewhere here I have the thing. You have to put so there's like a message reference rather than the message. And queue declare message. I'm pretty sure I've done this before. Yeah, you put the ID of the message you want to respond to somewhere, and then what you do, I did this previously on the other stream, but here we're processing the message and we're taking the JSON from the thing that has the message ID, and you create a message reference with the message ID and the channel ID. And then with this reference, you can then send the message and reference it. And then that way you have something that's not consumed, and it can be like 10 minutes after or something like that. It really doesn't matter. Okay, so that's... Okay, here we go. So we are at, what is ret? Is an image. So is instance ret image. Let me do that. Let me ChatGPT. Is it some so weird? I'm pretty sure that's doable. What am I missing? Or is it something like simple like ret is image? False. Yeah, it's not image. That's a class. Oh. Bastards is what they are. That is not a class. It is something. What is that? What is image? Image is a what? No help for image. It must be a module or something like that. So dumb. So dumb. Okay. So we can get rid of the PDB. Do that. Let's see. Discord client activity. Discord Pi. Yeah, I'm not sure that's probably not worth doing. It's gonna be slow anyway, and I'm sure like the heartbeat, changing the heartbeat interval really just kind of invites Discord now to kick us out, right? Because they have their own heartbeat interval, and we probably are setting, like, the default is either that we're setting exactly that, or like its maximum, or it has some other maximum, and whatever maximum we set might be too much. Anyway, so let's do the message again. And yeah, we gotta look at the numbers changing here. So 774. I don't know when it changes. It doesn't seem to change all the time, but it does sometimes change. So yeah, who knows? Okay, so I have high hopes for this run that it'll work. And maybe one day I'll get a computer with a real GPU. I'm actually thinking of switching over to my Windows workstation. Oh, it's not a Windows workstation, it's a Proxmox machine that I have a Windows virtual machine inside. But there's some sort of problem with the USB that I need to debug. And it's an annoying thing. Essentially, after a few seconds, the keyboard and the mouse, they stop responding. And you have to unplug it and plug it back in. And I have disabled the power settings in... oh, damn. Tell me it's going to use the file extension? Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because I'm telling it to save, and it needs to know, well, save what? What is it that you want me to save? I just wish it didn't take so long to generate. Okay, and then I guess let's do that, and then after that, let's actually delete the file so I don't have a bunch of temp files lying around. Okay, so let's save, compile. Okay, so we're back in action there. Now let's go back here. Try to make another Rivers and Lakes picture to be a little bit more zen. Channel our inner Bob Ross. And did the number change again? I think so. Yeah, what determines this number? Definitely think we need we probably definitely need like an unmentioned thing. That changes way more than I was expecting, at least, with Jen, we haven't had any problems. So I don't know what's going on there. Cybo is typing. So it's probably a good time to mention what are the plans for Zybo and what Zybo is. The idea for Zybo is that it's not necessarily a bot, but it's an interface that you can use and attach to your bots to make your bots smarter. So, you would connect it to your bot more than it is your bot. So even though here it kind of looks like there's a Zybo bot, our kind of long-term goals is not to have a Zybo bot that you add into your channels. You would have your own bot, and then you'd attach your Zybo onto it. Not sure exactly how to make that experience nice in the platform, but we're thinking about it. It'll probably be like a internal thing, right? We have a platform where you can publish your agent, make it available as a bot, and then all you have to do is give us the right key and the image for the bot, and then we handle the rest in there. So yeah, currently thinking doing it that way. If anybody else has another idea, just let me know. Can't do plus int and stir. Why is f.name an int? Why is f.name an int? Why f.name an int? Is it a file descriptor? Hello? Okay. F is equal to import temp file, temp file dot temporary file name is 3. Okay, so we don't want temporary file. We want something else. Named a temporary file. Yes. Use make stemp instead. Return the absolute path name. I don't really care about the prefix or suffix thing. Name temporary file makes sense to me. Not too. Don't need to be too specific about the thing. Oh, does this say the same thing? That's probably not smart enough for that. Okay, so let's go here. So my temp file should be a named temporary file. Yeah. Then you can specify a suffix or prefix if you want. You probably should for security purposes, so people can't guess what it is. But don't care too much. And yeah. Okay, so let's try that again. Yeah, nothing changed there. Let's do that. Okay, bring this back up. One other thing is I have access to the new GitHub Copilot, so I should maybe try that out. But I'm not really a fan of VS Code. I mean, I like it, it's fine. But I'm a fan of more interesting things. Yeah, it's on my to-do list to try. Maybe it'll be a little bit better than what we have. So let's see, how many people are watching the current stream? Small number. Yeah, but that's the way it is. This is it's not a very super entertaining stream, as I can imagine. But pretty soon, there'll be lots of people who want to do things with circuits. I'm sure of it. Maybe I need a more interesting background, I guess. I mainly just have my 3D printer over there. Need to have something cool, like a screen with a matrix background and edgy, dark colors, and neon lights. Yeah. And then we'll have the views. Okay, that's not what I was expecting. And it's empty because it is empty. Yes, makes sense. Let's try to not be idiots. Yeah. Okay, let's try that again. Or maybe let's ask it for something different than pictures of lakes. I'm interested to see what its picture of rivers and lakes is. So yeah, I like that type of indicator. That is pretty good. This is definitely something that would kind of benefit from having the message queue in between, and Zybo can just say, I'm on it, give me a few seconds. And then we do the message queue thing and kind of come back after a while and say, here you go. Then after that, I can say, Zybo, go do my taxes. And do my taxes. That would be amazing. It'd probably be also annoying. I can imagine it'd be like, okay, all I need is this, and this information. And you'd be like, yeah, if I knew all that information, I could do my taxes myself. So yeah. So it's 70% done, 80% done. Sometimes I wonder if I should get an external GPU. I have an external thing. Oh yes, that is so Bob Ross. That is perfect Bob Ross right there. Took it a little bit too literally. The hand is there because I asked it to draw me a picture. So it's drawing. The other thing is that file name is not necessarily something we want to put in there. But I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's just a lot of weird random numbers that don't mean anything. So having that in here, I don't think it's. Now, what do you mean the empty string? Because you have to have like this attachment path, right? Is there multiple things attached to the response? That's not what I wanted to do. Okay, hold on. There's this thing. Why is this attached to two places? Okay, that's better. Okay. Discord message here. Okay, any requests for images? We have the most amazing of artists at our disposal. Image. Make an image the style of 50s of like World War II propaganda. Saying we need you, but with a robotic hand. I think the number changed again. That is ridiculous. Oh man. That changes way too often. Okay, so let's kick that off and then change this thing. Oh, did it change again? Okay, I guess we have to fix it now. Okay, so let's open this up again. Okay, so the ID is never going to change. So if we go to the trigger branch, and let's have another say trigger on mention, or maybe have it on trigger on mention. So, and then let's make this message trigger be optional. So what we really want is that if this trigger on mention is true, then this needs to be something. But if this is false, or no, if this is false, this needs to be something. But if this is true, you can leave the message trigger out of it. And so what we want is let's kind of put the trigger together. So the full trigger is equal to self dot message. How do we go from we get the user ID. The client has client have an ID? I think not. So if bot user mentioned in message, aha, that makes sense. And then this also happens to trigger, you know, when someone says everyone or here or something like that. Or we could do this, bot user ID message content. Interesting that it's using the exclamation point here. But in Gen, I am not. How does that work? Ah. I see. Okay, do we have a reference to the bot though? I'm sure it's in the content. So it's the Discord client is the bot, right? I think so. Yeah, pretty sure that's the thing. But how does that talk thing work? So if I do, I mean like this or like this? So weird.
Hello, I'm back.
Hey.
With something that may be really helpful. You have access to the message, right?
Yeah.
And I've looked up how the mentioned in thing is implemented. And apparently it checks for the ID in the message mentions. So apparently message has a mentions. And we can use that to get, well, everything, I guess. So Discord message has an attribute called mentions, and it also has a mention everyone.
Okay.
And yeah, the mentions has a list of member, and in there you can in principle well, basically check whether that is the same as the user's ID. So
okay, so we have bot is equal to context dot Discord client bot dot mentioned in message. Okay, so if
yeah, I mean, if you have the bot directly like that, then you don't
Yeah.
need to re-implement the mentioned in. Then you can just use it.
and then I want to combine the two.
Why?
Yeah, whatever. Okay, so the idea there is that I might want to say, like, Zybo, say hi or something like that. Like I might want to have the trigger message be this and have it mentioned at the same time.
Oh, you mean something like... Ah, okay, I see. Well, then it's an and, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you want to get rid
But-
of the
exactly.
prefix of the user mentioning.
Yes.
Like
we
you
don't
want to
know what
start
that is.
with it afterwards. I mean, the thing that stays the same is the angle brackets, right?
Yeah, but the thing about mentioned in is that it's not necessarily at the start.
Ah, you mean I could be like, hey, this is
Yeah.
like, yeah. That is a good point.
So it would be like if self dot trigger on
Is the mentions list ordered?
mention. Good question. Don't know. But it would be
Because,
like so
what you-
if that's and so if that's true, then mention in message, right? Or that. Yeah, I think this will work for now. It's not what I want, but that,
I mean,
that's
you
good
could,
enough.
you can, again, you can look at the message and its mentions list.
Mhm.
I think that is, and
Then just see if I'm in it or not. That we're in
if
it,
the
but
message
figure
is
out,
in a private message, the list will be of user instead, or instead of member.
that's so annoying.
For messages that are not of type message type default, this array can be used to aid in system messages. I mean, it doesn't say, like, in particular, whether that is going to be ordered by the mentioned, but it could be.
Yeah.
Like, I think I'm currently hiding. Can I put my thing somewhere else? No, can only
No.
change.
Gotta reload.
Okay.
Set this to.
I'm going to.
Oh. If you hide yourself, you also hide your voice.
Yeah, that's annoying.
There's no way.
I think this layout is better for right now, so everyone can see the output.
Yeah. So now, if I go Zybo, what is 2 plus 2? And that did nothing. If self.trigger on mentioned value is true.
Don't you need to restart it to pick up the new
Oh,
code?
I did. But maybe I have to recompile it. One second. Save compile.
Yeah, because of the literal true.
Yeah. Okay. And don't want to do that. What happens if you ask it? It has no attribute mentioned in.
Because you have a client object, not a user object.
Bot
Okay.
Okay.
So the client object has a user property. That's what you want. So you use so instead of bot equals context is bot client, and bot equals client.user.
Now that's executing that. And what's going to do when you give it like math expression?
I think it's going to use make its own. Ah, yes, it is going to produce. Can you show what it's showing below? It's text classifier. It's going to use a text classifier
to do math.
And the labels are 2, 3, 4, and 5. It knows it's somewhere in there. Oh, what a waste of resources.
Yeah, it's like, shit. The amount of calculations. The sheer amount of calculations.
Yeah.
This thing can do like a teraflop. And it takes like minutes to answer. 2, and it got it wrong.
Maybe you should give it a calculator as a tool. I think those language models, they are like liberal arts students.
Yeah. Liberal arts students. Yeah. Okay. I see. And then the other thing is in okay, yeah, our delete doesn't like having a none. And that makes sense. You probably should make it because like the alternative is either add a branch or do it in here, and I think it's just better to do it in here.
I think I'm wondering how much effort it would be to kind of pull the prompt from the Hugging Face agent thing, because it's more or less a set of prompts and some decoration around it. And make it work with tools that you define in Xircuits. Because that's probably quite a bit nicer to use. When you can define your tools like use delete instead. It has this custom tools section here at the end, but it
sucks. Yeah, like that's my issue. It's like these docs are not great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's obvious that they were struggling to get something out as soon as possible. There is, right at the beginning, the link to the collab. And the collab has a custom tool defined, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So it has like, as an additional tool, it has fetch an image of a cat and
so tool. And tool is a class. It's a callable, essentially.
Yeah, it's a callable. It has a description, some input, some output. I mean, that is essentially the same thing as the interface I've defined for tools on Technologic, and I think they must have copied it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and the XAI GPT agent toolkit is essentially the same.
Yeah. And so when you create your agent, you can tell it like, here are your tools.
Mhm.
Or here are your additional tools. And then it will use the cat capture, the cat fetcher.
How do we make a custom tool in Xircuits?
How if you define
I mean,
the
yeah,
Hugging
just
Face
need-
agent here?
Yeah, it's just the agent. You just do agent.run. So if we go here, we can have a tools, which is an in-arg of list. And
It's additional
so-
underscore tools.
Addition.
I mean, you can replace it too by calling agent.tools or something like that. And then you get a dictionary that you can replace.
Ah, I see.
But yeah, that's...
Anyway, and then we would have an XAI component called class HF make tool. The component that has a name, a description, inputs, and outputs.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a list would be kind of annoying. Then in the execute,
Yeah, the execute is the interesting thing.
Yeah, then we have the tool ref, which is an out arg of tool, right? And then what we do is we define some class. Name is equal to self.name.values. And then def call. This is the part that's not easy.
That would call...
I mean, if we make if we force it, that inputs are text and outputs are text. In the simple case, then we can have the input text, and then the tool can have we'll have a tool ref, and then we can have the input ref, then we can have the run tool, there's the other self.
Yeah, and I guess in the class definition for the name and description, you should also already use other self.
Yeah. Well, I think it's okay because it's not inside of a method. But yeah, just we can do while. Yeah, we'll do next is equal to that, and then while next.
I think we need a subtool executor or something, because I see this next equals other while next do a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, next
I think
equals
it's okay.
next do.
Yeah, that's what I want. Next do. Okay, and we want an instance of that, right? I think so.
Why do we have input text in the call?
That. Yeah, we want to do other stuff. Essentially, that's what is going to be the input.
Okay. What if we set? What if we have just arcs there, and we pass arcs to, like you set the input to the arcs, then we can have arbitrary inputs. And output ref is
well, the thing is, we still need to set the input ref, right?
Yeah, we still need to set the input ref as for where that is. No, wait. Do we?
Yeah. I don't know, but like, let's make a calculator tool. So in circuits, let's HG. Let's reload this thing. Have our tools, right?
Yeah.
And if I have a set of make tool, okay, and then the name is calculator. Right, and it's simple.
Let's have it in the same way how they're writing it. So this is a tool that calculates mathematic
value read simple Python expressions. Right? That's pretty much all we have in things.
Yeah, but you still want to tell it to what it should be using, or so. Maybe.
Maybe. Let's see it struggle. In control flow, we have eval.
I think we don't have an eval component.
This is essentially eval.
Are you going to set the input ref to up?
Yep.
And A and B to the empty string?
You bet. Integer value. This is integers.
Just make yourself an eval component.
Yeah. That's probably the right thing. And yeah, the other thing is we need to return something.
Well, that's fine.
Oh, right. Yeah, we don't need, or no, do we?
I mean, as long as our call returns something.
Which it does not.
What should it return? Other self dot.
No, it needs to. We have a branch that is executing some code. Like, for example, calling Dolly, and then it will save the file. Actually, let's not do the other thing. Let's just do generate image with Dolly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's more exactly
The
relevant.
name that you want to give it then is
So run tool.
text to image. Let me check what exactly.
I overwrite the tool by calling it text image.
Yeah, you give it the same name as the existing tool, and that way you override it. I only need to find which one it is. Speech to text, text classification, text to speech translation, Python interpreter, segmentation. Wait, where are all the tools? Interesting. Base Python tools. Print, float, int, bool, stir. Ah, there. Hang face default tools from hub. Text to image. So it's text to image with hyphens.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Okay, so we have the image URL. We can download the images. File path. I think if I create a single literal string, that.
And it is using.
No, it doesn't. Gotta use
I'll
this. We have a list in here. Okay, so the list will be temp.png. Then we have OpenAI save download images. Great.
I've sent you a link for
the source code.
Yeah, there's the description and the inputs and outputs. So you can give it the same thing.
I don't want it to output an image though, because I don't have one. I think it'll be fine. If it knows that it's a text path, then it will just return the text path. Okay, and then the prompt for this thing will be something like this. No need for quotes here. Okay, so we have this tool. We have the URLs, which have been downloaded. We have temp.png. We need to return this.
So how do we make it return that? That's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, what we could do is we could write that into a variable.
And then pass the ref in the variable, like the output variable.
Yeah. And that's a bit annoying.
But there's nothing else we can do, I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as we don't have back links, I think that's it.
Okay. So this is a little mind-bending. But you have an output ref in the input and then an input ref in the output. It's mind-bending, but it makes sense if you think about it.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's put these here, get ourselves some more room. And we're going to define a variable, which I think we have in here for legacy reasons. And we'll call this image URL. Value starts as none. Cool. Then we will take the first element and then we will set the variable. Zero. Yeah, the literal integers are totally broken in the latest release. Unfortunately.
I guess we will need a point release soon.
Yeah. Okay, so now we've set the variable. And in here, we need to return output ref other self.output ref.value. Okay, so that's a thing. Okay, and then if I say typo, you didn't run, what's it going to do? Image generator. Image generator is not text to image. What is the difference between text to image and image generator?
Is there an image generator even? Like, really?
That's what it's using.
Doesn't mean that it actually exists.
It's using clip. But text to image tool uses stable diffusion.
So image generator of prompt returns a text that says this is actually an image representing prompt.
Mm-hmm. When is text to image used?
And they exist. They are fake tools for tests. So maybe it didn't properly propagate like the description or something. Oh, have you? No, you did update the description, right?
Yeah. Work, but not using.
But did it use? Like, did it use stable diffusion in the end?
No, it's using clip.
A clip can't create images.
Yeah. Okay, never mind. It is using clip to generate a vector, and then it is doing something.
Can you scroll up, like all the way to where it says what it's actually doing? That doesn't make any sense.
Few things do in the world of agents.
Because according to the code
Mhm.
I can find on here, it's literally like image generator doesn't exist anywhere else.
Hmm.
Or yeah, it's
It's such
only
a black box.
like in the examples of the tools. So maybe call your tool image generator instead of text to image,
I
if
guess
that's
so.
what it wants.
Watch.
Image generator,
Oh.
the same way how it's spelled there.
Let's try that and watch it fail in a new and unexpected way, where it's probably going to use text to image.
Okay, let's see. What is it going to do?
Fail.
Okay, no, that's great.
Oh, it's using prompt. Okay. We can do that.
Yes, because that is what it has in the examples.
Yeah. Let's call this prompt.
And
Okay. OpenAI create image. Hells yeah.
template
Okay.
PNG.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have temp.png, and that is because we are responding.
I mean, we could there we could just respond with an image. There is
You mean-
no good reason for us.
Like put this up here.
To not have a load file thing or so that we can put into that variable. But then we have that file in the variable.
Like response file.
But we still, I think
Yeah,
we
it's text.
want it to be not text.
Yeah, we want it to be an image. That's why. Okay, let's make it an image. Okay, so the output ref is something called image URL.
We have text
And then
and
we
element, we
set-
have download image. Don't we have like a utility thing that loads a file, that reads a file or something?
I think it's inside of OpenAI Edit. Or not.
I mean, like a util.
Did we have a util for file stuff?
No, we only have a delete file.
Yeah. Anyway, it's fine. We can do it in here. So let's have another component. Components class HF.
I would call it a read image because we only yeah.
Right. And then we have file name or file path. using a path. And our out file, out image will be an out arg of image, maybe image.image if we're being pedantic about it. And what we want to do is do image dot open file path value out image dot value is equal to that. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Then in our make tool, output is image. Output text return image.open. What?
I have no idea why they are using output text here. I think they don't know themselves.
Hmm.
I'm not even sure whether they're using their inputs and outputs properly
yeah.
anywhere.
Probably. Okay. So if we just set that, that might be all we need to do. And instead of doing that, yeah, we still want the image URL, but then we're going to take the image and set that as the value.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, they're not using the inputs and outputs thing.
Gotta love the quality engineering happening over there at Hugging Face. Make a cute image of make an image of a cute dog. We're done with cats. No cats.
But plenty of cats.
Yeah, plenty of cats on the internet if you wanted. But dogs, not enough dogs.
Okay, let's try again. I will make an image of a good boy.
You have to use an eye, of course. Image generator prompt, good boy.
Let's see.
Oh,
hey,
yeah,
very good boy.
Yeah, it knows what it's doing.
Okay, make an image of a computer programmer struggling to create a intelligent chatbot in the style of a political satire cartoon.
It responds with the image of. Oh yeah, and you have to mention it.
Yeah, I need to add. Let's see.
Runs so much
faster. Good boy was
faster.
easy. Let's see what it will do. Okay, selected.
Yeah, that is so cool. It is so cool that you can like. Create a tool in Xircuits itself is that is kind of cool.
I mean, we kind of need to figure out a way for the return.
Yeah, I mean the return. This setting variables is reasonable, I think. Like we could have a separate component
it's
for it.
It's harder than it needs to be. Feels like. But hey, we have custom tooling for Hugging Face agents now.
Yeah. with no code. You just need to know how to set and get variables.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, so we have a Discord bot. We have made an agent, and we have given it a custom tool. I would say that's a good live stream.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. We have
Now you
validated
can
that.
spend all your money
Yes.
using delete.
making pictures of cats. It's like,
Oh yeah.
We've spent over $100. What did we spend it on? Pictures of cats. Okay, but that's still pretty cool that we're able to do that. Okay, the last thing I wanted to do was run this in a virtual machine, which I happen to have. So let's see.
Okay,
So
I'm going to
Ubuntu,
leave you to do that again.
Okay. So in so we have plans on how to deploy these things, but you'll have to wait and see how that works. But suffice to say, it's going to be really easy. You just kind of get her done. That's what to say. But for now, it's essentially super easy to kind of. It is pretty portable to do things. Let me do a quick pip freeze. TXT here. And then we will SCP everything recursively into E Gonzalez at 6. I'm going to call this Zybo. Yeah, we'll do that. Now that will require me to have a folder available. Okay. So that's way more than I wanted. And let's kill that. Okay. Need to be more specific. What we really want is to copy the XAI components there. Oops. Oh god. Now is my XAI components filled with stuff? No. Okay, good. What is going on? Well, CP-R XAI components to Zybo. Thank you. And then I think we can do multiple things here. So requirements.txt, XAI components, then untitled pi. Okay, so I'm going to stop this Discord bot. State 956. Okay. So let's get rid of the VM. Then we'll do Python 3 and VM. I'll have VM installed. I do need it eventually in this server. It's going to take some time. Okay, cool. Now we can do that VM thing again. Six. Um, okay, and stuff here. Okay. Now we go to side vote. We have our VMs. We're going to source VM dates, install our requirements txt, which should get us everything we need. I'm gonna add some more music to the stream, I think. Okay, let's download the hunk of bits that is Torch to 600 megabytes. But it is completely necessary. Got some CUDA stuff going on. QDNN stuff going on, even though this has no GPU. So that's kind of unfortunate. I need to download such a ridiculous amount of stuff. And Kublas, good lord. All right. But I think it will properly fail back to the CPU only version. Sure takes a sweet time on setup tools. Let's see. What's it doing? I guess it's mainly doing a bunch of disk writes. Mm-hmm. How long is this going to take? Oh, man. Okay, cool. Stop looking at it for a sec, and it was able to do everything. So if I run this, it's got to download the rest of the internet and do that. Cool. So I think the image generator will now work again. Of a cute what's a random animal that has the potential to be very cute? That is not a cat or a dog. That's not a chicken, because that's dangerous. Frogs? Sure, why not? Okay, good enough, I guess. This will only work with one thing because we always use the same name, but I guess it's okay. Capybara, that's a good, cute one. Capybara is genuine good stuff. Yeah, I guess it's chilling with a few animal friends. Let me close this down for a sec, and then we'll screen it. CB Zybo. Okay, so now that is okay, so now that is properly running. And cool. We now have Zybo deployed using only circuits, nothing else, even a custom tool that doesn't take a ridiculous amount of time in RAM, and instead only takes a ridiculous amount of money. So arguably the right trade-off, I guess. Running, and yeah, it wasn't too bad to go from our Discord thing to custom Hugging Face agent tool. And I would say the 1.8 release is pretty good, but we did discover kind of issue along with literals. Now we need to fix in a point release, but there is, there seems to be no issues making custom tools. We kind of made a custom component So we need to, yeah, my basics are all down. Pretty good. It should be a little more stable, less cruft in here. But fundamentally kind of the same. But anyway, so I hope this stream has been entertaining to the people who are looking at it. And we will see you all again next week, same time. I think, yes, I think. If you're in Japan, definitely check out the Builders Weekend hackathon and things like that. If you follow Express AI, you'll kind of learn everything about that. We'll be participating in or sponsoring a hackathon based off of the agent platform and things like that. So if any of this looks interesting to you, feel free to join in on the fun that we're going to have over there. And I guess we'll see everyone next week. Okay. Talk later, everyone. See ya.